Hey, welcome back to Computers for the Completely Clueless. I'm Lee Keller.
Kim Cavanaugh.
And we're going to talk about the layers.
The layers, right. Now, remember, a layer is kind of almost like you think of a transparent sheet that you lay on top of something. And each one of these sheets can have different things on it. And you can take the sheet away or hide it. Or
these layers actually have little elements built into them.
Oh, it's
really
extremely sophisticated and way, way cool. So remember, the sidebar is where you control what appears in Google Earth and what you can do. So we've opened up the layers section here in the sidebar.
Yeah, let's start with some basic ones like roads.
Right.
And when you go to roads, you'll see that these are highlighted and some of the major roads are there.
Right. So on the sidebar, if there's an empty box, then that layer is off. If there's a check in the box, then the layer is on. So to turn them off and on is just as simple as clicking those boxes.
Now, something that's neat about roads is you see these major roads that are labeled here.
Right.
As we zoom in on this, more minor roads pop up, and it gives you more detail as you get in closer.
That's really nice. That's really nice.
So, if you see a road that, it's like, what is that road? Well, zoom in on it, and it'll let you know the name of it.
So you get in low enough, you're going to see almost all the road names there. Now, that can be kind of distracting, so you could just turn it off. Especially when you zoom out, you might start to get to see too many things. Now, some of these little boxes have a plus mark next to them. What's that mean, Lee?
That means there's more to it than you think.
Right.
And if I check the top part of it, it means it checks everything underneath.
Everything. Now, in this case, we're looking at what's called the geographic web. And what happens in Google is you've got people that are adding content to Google Earth.
And it's awesome.
And they do it through a number of ways. For instance, Wikipedia entries, one of the online encyclopedia,
one of my favorites.
Added. Panoramio is a photo sharing website where people can upload pictures that they've taken from anywhere in the world.
And there's pictures of Boynton Beach, Florida that people have taken.
There's the beach. There's somebody's house with a tree in front. Okay? And they've taken these pictures and they've tagged them as Boynton Beach, Florida, and they automatically get added into that geographic web. Now, this is pretty cool to look at Boynton Beach, but Lee, what if we wanted to go somewhere famous like, say, Rome? And see a picture of the Colosseum or something like that. So again, we just open up the search, do Rome, Italy, and we're going to zip around to the other side of the world.
And for most metro areas anywhere in the world, same thing applies. The thing that we just talked about with the roads, that'll show up.
Wow, now look at all these little photographic spots. The closer you get in, the more you see.
Points.
And the Wikipedia, if you click on one of the W's, that's going to bring up an encyclopedia article. Okay, and there's
Wow. Beautiful pictures.
Right, awesome pictures.
You could do a field trip with a class with this. You can take a virtual trip by yourself if you want to go on a vacation. See a spot.
Absolutely. Famous places you've always wanted to visit. You want to. I like to have things in context. When people talk about a place, it's nice to be able to show where it is in relationship to other places, and then see some of these great articles in here.
Well, something. Google Earth is so big. It's unfortunate we're not going to have time today to cover all these new layers and everything.
But again, all the layers over there, again, we talked last time about 3D buildings. You can turn those off and on. Once you do that, you'll see things that people have added in. Street view, you can go right down to the street level and see, and it's pretty cool. It's actually a little bubble that appears that you can then rotate in and around. Lee can't resist. He's going to zoom us on in here.
This is what it's all about.
And
you hit that bubble.
You sight a little photographic bubble because they take a 360-degree view
and look at this.
Of the street level. And there you are. You can see right down at the street level here in Rome, Italy.
And you have to be very careful when you do this because if your wife sees a shoe store, she's liable to want to go there.
I think that's going to be the only reason my wife will want to go there. How about the weather layer, Lee? Have you tried that one yet?
Yes, I have. Let me get out of this.
Yeah, okay. There's an exit photo right above there, I see. You just exit that button, and you're out of the bubble. And we're going to turn the weather on.
I may have to back up a little bit.
Yeah, I think we need to back up. And maybe turn off street views, just kind of a way to save a little time and space there. There we go. Notice, again, when you uncheck it, it goes away.
Yeah.
Now, the weather, I believe, is more full feature depending on where you are. Now, you can get the weather forecast
52 degrees.
Right, exactly, anywhere. But I think maybe if we expand out the weather, I believe in some places you can even look at live radar.
Yes, I've seen plugins. There are additional things that you can download.
Open the plus sign next to the weather. I wonder if it's hiding in there. Oh, yeah, there's clouds and radar.
Yeah, we've got
but again, I
checked.
think if we go over to the U.S., if we pop back over to the United States, the radar is not available everywhere, but we can get it. Oh, I don't know. You can just click on Boynton Beach and see what the radar says we've got for weather right here. And come on, fly. There we go. Now, sometimes the more layers you turn on, the harder, the more processing your computer has to do.
And we're not using a powerful computer. So
right.
people that are at home saying, my computer isn't that new, it's not that good,
right.
You'd be amazed at how well this program works with most computers.
And if we zoom out, we're in Boynton Beach now, and it's sunny, and there's no precipitation in our area today.
It's Florida. It's always sunny in Florida.
Of course, it's always sunny in Florida. And I don't believe that because... so you can zoom out and zoom in, and you'll end up picking up that radar. And really, Lee, Google Earth has so many cool things. Yeah. It's free, it's fun, and it's
can we talk about this more next week?
Yeah, I think we'll have to talk a little bit more about Google Earth this week. But in the meantime, we have a question, as we usually try to cover here, because we know that folks out there get confused. And Janice in Royal Palm Beach writes us this week. And she's just confused about some terms that people throw around, especially when computers go. It's people tend to throw words out and assume that you know what they mean. So she says she gets confused by some of the computer terms. And can you explain what some of these terms are? All right, a hard drive, and she wants to know: is this the same as a disk drive and a C drive?
Well,
are they all the same thing?
Well, it is a disk drive, but it's usually internal to your computer.
Okay.
You might have an external hard drive, but your primary one, your C drive, is always going to be inside the computer.
Right. So typically, Janice, when people are talking about a hard drive, they're talking about the big disk with all the major storage that's inside your computer.
Storage device.
And it's the one where your operating system, Windows or Macintosh OS 10, in the case of a Mac, is located. And that's where most of your stuff's going to be located. And what about C drive? What does that mean?
Well, C drive, drives are usually assigned a letter, especially in the Windows platform.
Right.
So that letter...
Only on the Windows platform.
Okay. Well, Linux too, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And it just basically refers to a specific drive. So you can have multiple hard drives.
Right.
At home, I've got an external hard drive.
The designation of C goes way back in computer history.
Yes.
Who knows where it came from? There used to be an A and a B, and then the C was your hard drive where all your major stuff was. Why that is? But again, Janice, it's the major part of your computer where most things are stored.
What else does she have there?
She's a little bit hung up, and I think we've talked about this before. CDR, CD-ROM, CDRW.
Okay.
What's the difference between those?
A CD-ROM is going to be it's usually referring to a CD drive, but all it can do is read CDs.
So it's read-only memory. That's all it can do. And actually, it would be a disk that maybe you get commercially. It's got so it's a CD-ROM. There's nothing you can do with that disk except read it.
CDR you can write to once.
Okay.
Just once.
CDR.
And a CDRW you can write to many times.
Okay. So it would be like what you used to have a floppy drive, where you could add things to it and delete things from it. So it's a little bit confusing, but Janice, if you have any questions and you're going out to the store and you want to buy the right kind of CD, just ask somebody in the store and don't let them go till they explain it to you fully.
And next week we're going to talk a little bit more about Google Earth, see if we can finish that up for you, and we'll see you next week.
Come on back.